So next up, guys, I am so excited. We have Ashley Allen. Ashley is a good friend of mine. I'm so blessed to call her a friend in person. And she is a TV producer. She's worked on big shows like The Bachelor, America's Got Talent. And right now she's currently producing my friend's television show, Happy to Be Home with the Benkos here in Charleston. So she is not an agent, but she is a genius when it comes to defining and connecting with an audience. And she's going to share her wisdom with us now. Ashley, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. First, I just want to say, Tina, that was incredible. I feel like I learned so much from you. Your world is so different than mine. And I know that I don't know anything about real estate, but just the little nuggets that I gleaned from you were just so helpful. So thank you for sharing them. That was really impactful for me. So I'm glad that I was able to hear what you had to say. And you guys, I'm so happy to be here today. Victoria has had so many incredible things to say about this community. So I'm really thankful that I can share my experiences with you. I realize that I am totally out of my wheelhouse when it comes to real estate and what you guys do. But I do think, when it comes to connecting with an audience, the same rules of storytelling apply, whether, I'm telling stories through television or film, or whether you guys are telling stories to buyers, sellers through Instagram or whatever, media streams that you guys are using. So as Victoria is saying, I have 20 years of experience producing film and television. I've produced Bachelor, Bachelorette, Dancing with the Stars, Hell's Kitchen, America's Got Talent, and I'm currently producing a series for the Magnolia Network called Happy to Be Home with the Benkos, and it shoots here in the Low Country of South Carolina. And it's about a father and daughter team who renovate and design homes. So even though I don't quite know fully what you guys do, I feel like I'm tiptoeing into, real estate here in the Low Country. So there is sort of a connection point. And the television show brought me here. I now live in Summerville, South Carolina. And the way that I connected with Victoria is she helped me buy my home. And, as I watched her work with me, I realized how similar our jobs are when it comes to connecting with an audience, because I was her audience and she was allowed into a very personal and private space for me. When I moved to Summerville, I was a newly single mom. I was buying a home by myself for the first time. She was party to my finances. She was party to my fears. She was party to my hopes. And so I realized, she was connecting with me in an intimate, authentic way, very similar to the way that I would hopefully with audiences that view my content. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about connecting with an audience. And the first step when it comes to connecting with an audience is defining an audience. So I will use examples from my career that I'm sure will translate to you guys. When I'm producing Bachelor, I know that my audience is primetime ABC, and a portion of the show airs after 10 p.m. So we know that that audience is largely female and is probably going to skew older because it's airing later in the day. When it comes to America's Got Talent, that is NBC prime time. So I know that it's going to be families that are showing up for that content. It's going to be adults of varying genders and ages, and it's going to be kids of varying genders and ages. And when I'm producing Happy to Be Home, that's the Magnolia show that airs on Sunday nights and it's streaming. So we know that that audience is largely millennial women. So once I know who my audience is, it is vital to understand, what is my audience showing up for? What do they want from me? What are their aspirations? What are their challenges? What are their pain points and desires? And how can I meet their needs? So when you think about Bachelor, that audience of women who skews a little bit older is probably showing up because they want romance. They may want to commiserate about men or dating. They might want to laugh at the cattiness of the Bachelor contestants. And because they're showing up for me later in the day, whether it's 9 or 10 o'clock, they're probably tired. They are probably looking to check out. They might want to feel better about their day, or they might want to connect with the community via social media as they tweet or post about the crazy things that they're watching. If I'm thinking about America's Got Talent, it's that primetime NBC family audience. So the stories that they want to watch something that's heartwarming, or they want to root for an underdog, or they want this crazy wow moment that they can discuss with their kids. That America's Got Talent audience is very likely to be looking for a way to connect with their family or connect with their kids. And when I'm thinking about Happy to Be Home, the Magnolia Show, that audience of millennial women is looking for something wholesome. They're looking for something relatable, and they're probably looking to learn. They're looking to learn from experts about how they can, make their home beautiful and bright and happy. So once I know who my audience is and what they're showing up for, the next key in storytelling is to connect with your audience in an authentic way. And I think we hear authenticity all the time. It's a buzzword and it can kind of be a little bit annoying, but the reason it's a buzzword is because it's true and it's right. And when you can connect with an audience in their aspirations, in their pain points, and in their desires, you have a huge win. And when it comes to my shows, if there's ever a water cooler moment or a moment that's trending on social media when it comes to Bachelor or AGT, that's when we know that we have reached peak connection with an audience. And specifically with unscripted or reality television, the water cooler moments or the trending moments, a lot of times they get a bad rap because it's like, oh my gosh, did you see that crazy housewife on Bravo throw that glass of wine? Or, oh my gosh, did you hear about Scandoval, the guy that cheated on his girlfriend with her best friend? Or, we're talking about the Kardashians doing outlandish things on TV. But I think if you peel back the layers and you take a deeper look, you'll realize that woman on Bravo that threw a glass of wine had reached a point of frustration and anger that she couldn't take it anymore. Or if we're looking at Scandoval, we're looking at this poor girl who is in a very broken place of being cheated on. Or if you're looking at the Kardashians, you're just like, how are they airing this dirty laundry on national television? And what you are seeing is a very private and personal moment that typically would be behind closed doors, but the media is opening it up to you. So you're connecting with these people who are, crying or having a cat fight. When it comes to America's Got Talent, you are connecting with the really authentic emotion of longing for your desires to be met or achieving a goal, or the tears of joy, when you reach that goal. You're really connecting with the characters, and whether you love them or hate them, root for them, you're showing up because you want to see more. And I think for you guys as agents, that's where I see such a similarity in what we do, because you guys are able to connect with a buyer or seller on their pain points, aspirations, or desires, whether in person or through social media. You have someone who might be nervous, apprehensive. They might be uneducated when it comes to real estate. They might be worried about their finances. Maybe they've worked really, really hard to save up enough money to finally buy their dream home. Maybe they are feeling like they don't have enough money and they don't want to settle for something. Maybe they've worked really hard and now's their time that they get to show off what they've done and their accomplishments and buy this amazing piece of property. Or maybe they're looking for a special place to raise their family. You guys really get to connect with your buyers and sellers in a very, I think, private place. Home is sacred. Home is personal. Finances are very personal. The ups and downs of putting in an offer, waiting to hear if it's been accepted, going through due diligence. I mean, you guys are in a really special place to connect with these people really authentically and, tell a story that meets their needs. And I think another extremely important part of storytelling is the uniqueness of the storyteller. So when we think about pain points, hopes, aspirations, desires, for me as a producer, if I'm working on Bachelor, at the time that I was working on Bachelor, I was a single girl. So I was perfectly poised to tell that story. I was living in LA, I was dating, and I had gone through the ups and downs of all of it. And so I could tell that story authentically. When I started working for America's Got Talent, I was newly pregnant. And so my eyes were open to a whole different worldview of wanting to still tell stories that were safe for my family, and now producing the Magnolia series, I'm a homeowner. So I absolutely can relate to wanting to make my home better. So my uniqueness as a storyteller helps me connect with my audience. Just like you guys are perfectly equipped to tell the stories that you're telling and connect with your audience. Your audience is the buyer or the seller. You guys are the storyteller, and the story is the property or the community that you're selling. And as agents, you are prepared, the property, the neighborhood, the community, and you know how each space meets a buyer's needs. And you can then connect with them on their aspirations. You can ease their worries and fears. And I think meeting them in those authentic places really puts you guys in a unique position to not only get their business, but also have them refer you. Just like Victoria with me, she really met me in that authentic place. And she was able to walk with me when it came to my hopes, what I wanted, what I deeply wanted for my family, what I feared, what I didn't know. And she walked with me through that process. And, I've continued to refer her. But, for you guys, when it comes to your messaging, whether in person or whether on social media, really digging into your uniqueness as the storyteller, your ability to meet your clients' needs and connect with them on these pain points, hopes, and desires, is what makes you a perfect fit for the buyer, the seller, and their property. So I know that I don't know a ton about what you guys are doing, but I would love to take my experience and talk through any questions that you have about how you can, tell a story about a property, or if you just want reality television tea, I can give you that as well. But if you guys have any questions or thoughts, I would love to connect if you want to enter them into the chat.
Yeah, good.
Hey everyone, Ashley, thank you so much. Can you guys see me? Let's switch screens here. Is anybody, are you guys able to see me or hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, are you able to see me, Ashley?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned buyers and sellers being our audience, and I would certainly agree with you there. But much in the same way that like the television consumers, your audience, I feel like you niched that down further for each show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were in our shoes trying to reach, buyers and sellers are such a broad market, broad demographic. Do you think it's beneficial that we each kind of hone in further for our own unique target audiences, even if we're serving a broader audience from a marketing standpoint? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you'll find when it comes to marketing or selling, every time that you get niche, that seems to be when people explode, because they're meeting the needs of a really specific audience. And I think, for you guys, your audience is the community that you're selling to. So it would be sort of a two-parter, really doing the market research on the communities that you're selling in, as, how those communities or neighborhoods can connect with the pain points, aspirations, or desires of the audience. And then also, Victoria, I can use you as an example. When you were working with me, we weren't able to connect on all things, but we were certainly able to connect as moms. We were certainly able to connect as, working moms who are career oriented. And so just those two connection points, you were really able to walk with me in a way that met my needs. And I think that's an asset. Who you are specifically and who each of these agents are specifically is an asset to them. And they can really, connect with a very specific audience.
That's so helpful. Eli had another question, and he asked if there were any specific phrases that you think that we might ought to use or that would be helpful.
Gosh, that's so tough for me because I, work in TV and are telling different types of stories. I'm not entirely sure if there are specific phrases, but I will say when it comes to social media, you want to capture your audience within the first few seconds of the content that you're posting. So you don't want to dilly-dally, you don't want to hem and haw, you want to go right for the jugular, whatever. And I would think, in regards of pain points, desires, aspirations, where can you grab somebody's attention knowing this might be something that they're worried about, this might be something that they're excited about? I would craft, your phrases with those things in mind.
Thank you, Ashley. Do we have any other questions in the chat? I'm going to switching screens here. Yeah, I agree. This does feel very aligned on the connection points. And I really love kind of the idea of going straight for the jugular and getting to the point. I don't know that I always do a great job of that. So I'm glad you said that we should do that early on. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, then I think we're going to shift. I want to try one more time.
Victoria, real quick,
Yes.
we just
Yeah.
wanted Ashley to let us know where we can find her on socials. Caroline was asking.
Oh yeah. I can tell you my Instagram handle. It's just like my personal life. It's not the most exciting, but it's at Ashley Williams Allen.